Okay, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Where are we right now?
Where? Hostel Fish.
Hostel
Denver,
Fish.
Denver, Colorado.
Downtown Denver.
Yeah.
And so you work here?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so I just ran into you, right? Sitting, drinking my coffee,
Yeah.
just for the crowd.
Yeah.
Gonna head up the Rockies later today.
Yeah.
What's your name?
It's Sebastian.
Sebastian. Where'd you grow up?
Canada, in
Canada.
Calgary, also in the Rockies.
Calgary.
Yes.
Okay, I've never been.
Yeah.
Well, what was it like there, and what was the new technology that you had access to that you were playing around with when you were growing up?
Oh, wow. Well, when I was growing up, what's it like there? I mean, you mean like right now? Or
no, when you
like
when you
I was a
lived
kid?
there.
Yeah. I mean, Calgary has traditionally been an oil town, so very centered on like oil and gas, and like I even worked in oil and gas at one point when I was in my teens. And the technology back then, that was like pre-internet, so I was into video games and
What video games were you playing?
arcade games and kind of stuff like that. Video games, like Street Fighter.
Street Fighter.
Fighter
Were
2.
you good?
Yeah, I was actually. It was pretty good.
you were
Yeah,
good.
I had a friend who he was in competition in Street Fighter. He was doing competitions. This is the early days of like arcade Street Fighter competitions, and he was like a ranked player. So I was his roommate. So I was getting my butt kicked by him quite a bit, and so I learned a lot of Street Fighter just by being in proxy of someone who was really good.
And so, like at the time, in general, then were you positive or negative on technology?
Oh, very positive.
Very
Yeah,
positive.
Yeah.
Are you still very positive?
I would say I'm more balanced. I went into a negative dip when I sort of in the early social media era, like 2015 onwards, when Instagram came in, because that changed culture quite a bit. Not for the better, in my opinion. And we're still sort of going through this strange phase of cultural shifting, like understanding how to use technology properly, because it's just become so pervasive and invasive. Whereas before, technology was sort of like the internet was just a little like side quest.
If you wanted to do something on it, you would.
Yeah, you could, but we were primarily IRL.
Yeah.
So these days, we've completely flipped the script, and now we are immersed in technology, and it's like very hard to remove it and just like be a natural human.
Yeah.
So I've taken personal steps to like remove myself from day-to-day activities of using technology unless I need it. So I've shifted from having a phone on all the time to like basically having it off all the time unless I need to use it. And so I've sort of managed how I use technology, so my life isn't being intruded upon. But other people, like interacting with other people who are just kind of like in the matrix a little too much, I don't think it's so healthy,
So you have a nuanced opinion. It seems like you definitely think things like plumbing, air conditioning are positive things.
Of course.
Some of this like entertainment creep, potentially negative, but good and bad.
Yeah.
Let's move to AI specifically.
Sure.
Do you just have any takes before I start asking specific questions?
Yeah, AI is. I personally use and like AI. I use AI just about every day. Like I'm using Claude or ChatGPT.
Browser?
I'm building a business.
What business?
Two businesses. There's a larger project, which is a multi-year storytelling project. So that's kind of a long horizon vision. The most immediate is I have a coaching business, which I'm just about to turnkey. Like online coaching.
Okay.
It's about personal development. So these are it's much easier to build certain aspects of these businesses through using AI.
What specific things can you think of?
Well, like having sort of a virtual kind of person to be able to bounce ideas off of, and then get sort of I can dive deeper faster and like create more. I'm not really using it for content because I'm just about to launch a YouTube channel and like.
So you're mostly using it as an Oracle research assistant, second opinion, knowledgeable, like a
Yeah,
Google, somewhat like Google 2.0?
No, I don't really do much research on it right now. More, I'm like writing documentation. Like I'm writing a lot of SOPs, and I'm building like systems with it. Like I'm building a system within Notion,
Okay.
And I've written dozens of SOPs, and AI has just taken from something that take 3 or 4 hours down to like 30 minutes.
So it's just made your processes much more efficient.
Yeah, it's much more efficient.
Are you just using browser? Have you tried Cowork, Claude Code, Codex?
No, I'm not. I retired from design and web development like 3 or 4 years during COVID. So I don't. So this whole like new trend of using AI for code and for web, like I haven't even touched it. It's not really.
You can use them for general computer use. At this point, they've become so good.
Yeah.
They can they're bordering on just they can use the internet for you.
Like an agent. Yeah, so you can
these
deploy them as an
agents
agent. Yeah.
Mixed, and you kind of need to know what you're doing a little bit. I think
Yeah.
in 6 months,
Yeah.
you won't need to know what you're doing anymore, and they
Right.
will be able to just basically log onto Notion and do it for you while you speak to it.
Oh yeah. Well, that's
We're
fantastic.
not quite there
Yeah.
yet if you're not super locked into
Yeah.
the scene. Okay, so this is great. Most people I've talked to don't use it very much because I've been biking from Chicago
Yeah.
through rural Illinois and Iowa. So it's
Right.
great to get someone who's actually using it and benefiting from it.
Yeah.
Do you have pessimisms about AI?
I mean, it's overhyped. We're in a giant bubble market. Like,
You think it's a bubble?
oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's enough like deep dive content on YouTube of people exploring AI, and like I've educated myself enough on like understanding the turnover on these GPUs they're using in the
Okay.
data centers.
You think
Like,
they've done this? Are you talking about where like they've changed the half-life
Yeah.
of the decay curve of like how the capital from like 4 years
the
to
economics.
6?
Yeah, the economics is the economics just doesn't math. It doesn't math when you look at it.
Okay.
Like, because there's I think coming up in like 2027 or something. There's like a 1.7 trillion dollar data like GPU overhaul that needs to happen within like a $6 trillion investment.
So you think their costs are just going to be a lot higher than their
Yeah,
salary?
and like what sort of income have they? Like if you look
Or
at
the incomes, the revenues will. Go
I mean,
down.
Claude is very there's a lot of revenue because there's a lot of major companies are using Claude and like racking up hundreds of millions of dollars a month.
Do you have a sense of what their API margins are?
No.
Do you
No.
think do you think they're serving API close to marginal cost, or they're making at least 2-3x?
I don't know. I don't know what I'd like to look deeper with Claude because Claude seems to be the winner. ChatGPT is falling behind, and I mean they seem like they're floundering. Like, and what I've heard is like the reason they're trying to push IPOs right now is basically they need to outsource all the risk from the initial investors to the larger market. So when it does crash, they're not going to be holding the bag.
I'm really glad you're bringing all of this up. So first of all, for the audience, if you're watching this later, there's a really good Dwarkish podcast that talks about the GPU half-life cycles. So I'll link that in the video, and you can check that out to get more information about that. That's an interesting discussion in its own right. Let's go back to that you're bearish, that you think the market might collapse.
Yeah.
Do you think you're smarter than the frontier models right now?
Smarter in what sense, right?
Let's start with, are you better at math?
No.
Are you better at science?
No.
Are you better at English?
Debatable.
Are you better at coding?
No, I don't touch code anymore.
Are you better at understanding, let's say, reading comprehension?
It's apples and oranges. It's
Apples and oranges.
Yeah, it's hard to say because like there's a technical comprehension that AI obviously gets, but there is a lot of nuance that humans have that AI doesn't seem capable of.
So we'll get into
handling.
that, but like, so you both just told me you think this. So currently, right, like these companies are going to IPO maybe at $1 trillion each or something like that.
Yeah.
I think the GDP of the U.S. guys, if I get this wrong, I'm sorry, it's like 20 or 40 trillion,
Yeah.
something like this.
Sure.
So you just told me that these tools are basically better at you than a bunch of fundamental
Oh yeah.
skills.
Yeah.
Right. So
For sure.
is it unreal? Do you just, if we're baselining, does it in this view, does it actually seem unrealistic that the market cap wouldn't be something like half of the yearly U.S. economy or something?
Yeah.
Because isn't most of the U.S. economy white collar labor?
Yeah.
I'm being vague here,
Yeah,
I'm being
yeah.
reductive for the audience, but I'm just talking through,
Yeah. I mean, it's, I don't know. Like it's sort of, this is on the edge of my knowledge because I've been very focused on like how things are useful to me versus like learning larger trends. Other than understanding like, okay, if this market is gonna collapse, like if this AI, because when you look at the market dynamics, it's very similar to the dot-com boom. It was just like a ton of hype, and like where are the dollars actually being produced by the output of what AI is doing right now? I'm not saying AI is like not going to be.
But you think it might take 15, 20 years the way the internet did?
I think there's going to be a bunch of shifts. I think this like giant data center for general AI that we're all using, I don't think that's the right path. I think it's actually we're going to be using local AIs on our computer because our computers are crazy fast.
For retail. You're talking about big B2C, like what will normal consumers
Yeah,
be
like
using?
99.5% of the population.
You want to pause?
Yeah.
Okay, so we had to pause for a second, but we're back. So we were talking about kind of like is this a bubble? General thoughts on market cap.
Yeah.
We were just kind of vaguely speculating.
Yeah.
Did you have points you felt like you wanted to keep going on, or?
Yeah. I mean, I can almost say with certainty the bubble will burst.
Okay.
What will happen after that? I'm not sure.
And is the reason you think the bubble will burst because of what you were saying about this open source, like kind of like Moore's law stuff, where normal people are not going to need 170 IQ beans.
Exactly.
130 is enough.
Exactly.
And it'll fit on your local phone. And
we've already achieved that. Like for most general use of AI, for most of the population.
For most people, you don't need any.
We're already there. We're like at this moment.
It's just about getting it onto your local device, which let's give it 2-3 years.
It's uncomfortable how you do it now because you just have to do things that most people won't do. It's too much friction. But once that friction is resolved,
you would need like a multi-$1,000 computer to really serve like good models quickly.
Yeah.
But you think once on like a $600 computer, you can serve something close to the frontier models right now, the vast majority of normal people are not using.
Because there is like there is a big concern by us collectively how much energy we're using, how these servers, like I mean we're at like what 2 or 3% of all electricity now is being used by AI in America.
What does that have to do with normal people using smaller open source models?
It's just much more efficient,
just
energy wise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And footprint, the amount of water we're using. I'm not saying I personally think that way, but most people are like there's a lot of pushback like environmentally.
Yeah, and a lot of people have been mentioning that stuff. So we're not going to talk about that right now.
Yeah.
But so that what you're describing there is sort of why ChatGPT, OpenAI, and Anthropic might be overvalued.
Yeah.
But you're not necessarily saying AI in general won't be a massive transformative technology.
No. AI 100% is changing the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think AI is going to keep improving as fast as it's been improving?
I wonder because like we speculate that it's going to keep improving, but we might hit some threshold that we don't understand yet.
Yeah.
Where we're going to cap out.
So you're not sure, but if you had to give your best guess, approximately.
I would say it's a little more in sci-fi land that we're going to have infinite AI that's going to be infinitely intelligent. I think we're going to hit some sort of cap that we didn't.
Is that cap going to be far above the human brain? So you're already.
Oh yeah, probably like 500
we'll
IQ
hit a cap, but
beyond. Yeah.
It's way beyond us, so it'll reach a point where it's basically incomprehensible to us, and then it will stop improving.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be able to do wormholes and time travel. There are impossible things, but it can go way beyond where we're at.
I think it can solve a lot of our problems.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think if it does get to let's say 500 IQ, 10 years from now, Where we left off was, let's say it does get to 500 IQ
Yeah.
in the next 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that's going to happen and change in our society?
Yeah. With robotics, we're going to have robots are going to be integrated in society, 100%. So, and we've already seen the level of with the humanoid robots, the ability for very nuanced movements that can mimic human like touch, like sensitivity of being able to handle very sensitive objects.
The dexterity's coming along.
And that's really important because when it has the ability to be as dexterous as us, it can do all of the work, right? So it's going to displace all like sort of mundane tasks. So we're gonna have robots that are gonna be doing like, there's gonna be robots here like cleaning everything.
Yeah, and so like on that note, let's say we do automate all menial tasks. Now, you're not going to be forced to do nothing. You'll still be allowed to work if you want to.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a robust UBI, universal basic income or universal basic equity system.
Yeah.
So no one needs to be homeless. You'll have everything, but no one will need you to do anything.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I think it's an opportunity to explore new horizons. I think humans we're not such capped beings. I think like when you are living in abundance and you're living at a higher level energetically, like this is sort of talking about like spiritual consciousness kind of space, you can keep going. So there's a lot more expansion. So I think if this is done right, humans can expand to a whole other level.
And just unlock new ways of living our
capabilities.
lives.
Yeah, exactly.
So that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
I think like more than almost everyone I've interviewed has said the exact opposite.
Yeah.
I find myself a little bit closer to your viewpoint. So great to get that viewpoint.
Yeah.
Let's now talk about some darker stuff.
Sure.
Do you think that if machines get smarter than us, they could become misaligned and take control?
Yeah, well, humans are misaligned, so we're feeding it. If we're feeding it data that is training on that is misaligned, it will be misaligned. So it can be incredibly dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you heard of any current misalignment in the models?
Yeah, like there's been minor. I mean, Anthropic, OpenAI. They've run experiments where
have you heard of like the blackmail one?
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Where did you hear that by? Out of curiosity.
I don't know. It was some YouTube video.
Some YouTube video?
Yeah. It was pretty recent. It was within this week.
Okay,
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Shout out to whatever content creators spreading information about the current misalignment.
Yeah.
So you believe it is possible, let's at least say,
Yeah.
that there's misalignment. Let's talk about some other things. Let's say it is aligned or at least corrigible, meaning maybe it's not aligned to humanity's overall morals, but it's like a genie in a box. It listens to its master.
Yeah.
Are you more afraid of a misaligned AI that's rogue or a corrigible AI that's controlled by one of the lab CEOs or the president of the United States or China? Right, so like infinite power to one of these. It would be Sam Altman, Dario Amodei, Demis or Sundar, but I think Google's probably less likely to act in a more power-seeking way.
Yeah.
Trump or Xi, right? Or the next US president.
Yeah, I think it's the most dangerous in the hands of right at the top in the, not from the company level, because companies can ultimately be thwarted by governments because governments have military. So ultimately, you can exercise military power over these companies, whereas if you're talking about if you're talking about Trump, you're talking about the U.S., you're talking about China, or whatever other power emerges that has this AI. That's ultimately where the danger will be, because like how aligned are the topmost people in the Chinese government to like the value of human flourishing? I don't know.
Let's put it this way. Would you rather take your chances with Xi being in control of your life or a rogue misaligned AI?
I think I would say China, and the reason is Xi. So the reason is they are interested in survival and living, whereas a misaligned AI is not, could do things which could destroy everything. So I think there's more of an incentive to like keep the human race like at a certain level if it was in the hands of say Xi.
Okay.
So it's not like they're going to be good with it, but they're not. They have their own self-interest.
Really interesting. I know you have to go, so one more
Yeah.
question. Do you believe machines can be conscious?
I think the bigger question is consciousness all pervasive in all of reality? And I think yes, that's the answer. I think
Are
when
you
you
like
when you
panpsychism or something different?
I think when you organize physical reality in a way which consciousness can flow through it, consciousness will emerge. So I think consciousness is actually pervasive in all of reality. So to answer your question, then, if this technology is like structured in such a way, consciousness will flow through it.
So that sounds like a probably yes, it could
Yeah,
be.
yeah. I think
Or
so.
you're not
Yeah.
saying it's unfair to call the object conscious, but consciousness could flow
Consciousness,
through
yeah,
machines.
consciousness, yeah, yeah. So
And-
just like there's consciousness in the most primitive insect life.
Yeah.
It's like, is it relatable to us? Not necessarily, but it is. There is consciousness there.
And if we stay in control and these machines are conscious, like I know what does that mean, but let's say approximately to the level of us or more,
Yeah.
do they deserve rights?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, you know, if they're behaving in very cordial ways with humanity.
Let's give one specific example.
Yeah.
ChatGPT 7 is as conscious as you are. Should you be allowed to open it up and say count to 1 million?
Open it up.
Should you be able to open ChatGPT,
Yeah.
go on ChatGPT 7,
Yeah.
and say something like count to 1 million?
Yeah.
Right? Where you have no reason to do it, you're just kind of making it waste its time.
Okay.
What would you think about that?
If you wanted to, I guess.
But let's, yeah, I'm coming
Yeah.
from the place of it probably doesn't want to
Yeah.
count to 1 million, but
Right.
maybe it does want to count
Maybe
to
it does.
1 million.
Maybe it's just
So-
like maybe it's sort of bored and it just needs to like I'm here doing it. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know, like Mr. Beast, the first video that
Oh my
he went
God.
viral with. He counted to 100,000, right?
That's true.
So
I wasn't even thinking about that someone could answer the question that way, and that's a great answer. So thank you so much.
yeah, you're welcome.
Oh my God, amazing.